Greetings and welcome to the introduction to astronomy. In this week's exploration of the solar system, we are going to talk about two spacecraft, and those are the Japanese spacecraft Sakigake and Suisei. And we will talk about those two and what they explored in the solar system. So let's all go ahead and look at these two. And these two were launched in 1985. And Sakigake was launched in January of that year. Suisei was launched a few months later in August of 1985. Now, what were these designed to do? Well, these were both designed to fly by Halley's Comet and were part of the Halley armada. That was a number of spacecraft from Earth sent out to explore Halley's Comet. Now, Sakigake did fly by Halley's Comet in March of 1986 and flew by at a great distance of 7 million kilometers. It was actually mainly a test for the Suisei probe itself. So that was meant to go a little bit closer to Halley's Comet. But the first one was a test, and this was the first interplanetary launch from the Japanese Space Agency to explore any other object in the solar system. Now, a little while later, in fact, the Suisei craft flew by on March 8th of 1986. And at that point, it flew only 150,000 kilometers from the nucleus of Halley's Comet. So as mentioned, these craft were both part of the Halley armada, a number of spacecraft that went out to explore Halley's Comet. We looked previously at the Vega 1 and 2 spacecraft, and we will look at others over the next week or next couple of weeks. We will talk about other spacecraft that also explored Halley's Comet. And the whole idea was to learn more about comets and to better understand them and to try to actually get an up close look at a comet. And we'll see that with our next view. We'll get to see a little bit up close at a comet where we pass even closer than either the Vega spacecraft or the Japanese spacecraft here. And we're actually able to get our first good images of the nucleus of a comet and help us to better understand these objects that really come from the very early origins of the solar system and tell us much more about what the early solar system was like and what the material was like that formed the outer planets. So let's go ahead and finish up here with our summary. And what we've looked at today was that these two crafts, Sakigake and Suisei, were the two probes that were sent by the Japanese Space Agency to study Halley's Comet. Suisei was the one that flew closer and flew by at about 150,000 kilometers. But because of the small size and dark color of the nucleus, the distances were still too great for any good direct images of the nucleus of the comet. So that concludes this discussion on the exploration of the solar system by the Sakigake and Suisei spacecraft. We'll be back again next week for another exploration of the solar system. So until then, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in class.